What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paid, and today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about King Von's legacy, or what I believe to be his legacy and its effect on rap. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Now, in this video, this one's going to be a little bit more open, a little bit more discussion-based. Usually on this page, I'm giving my takes and just hearing what you guys think about it. I give you a take, give you my reasons why, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. It's more so a concrete thing of what I believe about the state of rap, the state of somebody's career, somebody's music, something of the sort. But in this video, it's going to be a little bit more open-ended because I'm not 100% confident on it, but I do believe that it is the case. And it's specifically King Von's effect on music and specifically rap, obviously, and how I think a lot of the stuff that's going on right now is kind of the legacy of King Von. Now, I might be wrong, so that's why this is kind of open, and I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well, but I'm going to give you some of my reasons as to why I believe what's going on in rap right now is King Von's legacy. Street rap over the last 5 years or so has gone through an extreme mutation, basically turning itself into a crash-out sport, especially and specifically in drill rap. And, you know, the music is important, yes, but the disrespect is arguably just as, if not more important, in the street rap / drill rap space at this point. And disrespect has always been a portion of street rap, and that's damn near what drill rap has been founded on. Disrespect, you know, dissing the ops alive, dissing the ops if they're dead, sometimes especially if they're dead. Like, that's always been a thing in drill music. But over the last couple years, it feels like the disrespect has been turned up tenfold. And I really do kind of believe that the nexus event for this disrespect being turned up so much is King Von and his rise to prominence in rap. And just giving you a fair warning before I get into the video, I'm going to be using the word unalived a lot here, probably because YouTube is very sensitive. I don't want to get not only demonetized, but age restricted and all that stuff. So we're going to be playing extremely safe. This is a Weenie Hut Jr. version of the story. Now, King Von obviously isn't the first like real gangster to be a rapper, but there's no denying that there's just like a different energy when it comes to King Von. Like, the way that people talk about him, you would think that he was like Michael Myers or something like that. Like, the rumors of him being involved with somewhere between like 5 to 12 bodies, and just overall the way that people talk about him. And if you go read his tweets back then from when he was really in the streets, it's insane. Like, you just can't even fathom the fact that there's actually a police force in Chicago, because there's no way they did not see any of the tweets he was putting out. King Von might legitimately be rap's first serial killer. Like, that might not actually be an exaggeration when talking about him. And now, of course, he's not the first person, the first rapper to have ever caught a body or have some bodies to their name or be involved with a whole bunch of stuff like that. But again, it was just slightly different when it came to him. Like, that was like part of his identity to a certain extent. Like, when rappers, you know how rappers are always beefing with each other and they say, I'm not one of these rap dudes, bro. I'm not like the rest of these rappers. I'm gonna catch me a rapper and I'm gonna do him bad. When people talk like that, most of the time we just ignore it. Like, dude, you literally are a rapper. But when someone like King Von said stuff like that, people believed it. People really felt like, nah, like, he really isn't just a rapper. The energy was just so different that, like, when King Von died, people kind of celebrated. Like, some people celebrated, and he was a beloved rapper. Now, of course, the people on the other side are going to like make fun of him and joke about it and be all happy and stuff, but it was just like a different level of like, thank goodness this guy is gone.
Hey, look, some people need to be gone, bro. You know what I'm talking about, in order for shit to get better.
Bro, he was dead, bro. If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself on feet by himself.
In 2012, everybody couldn't hang with Von. Like, if you was hanging with Von, you had to accept everything that came with Von.
He was that man. He was a killer. He was a person that'll kill you and get on your ass.
Nigga was the devil, man. That nigga was the devil, man.
When you heard that Von got killed, how'd you feel?
I was relieved for the community, man. Cause he was over there torturing them guys, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
One of Satan's greatest soldiers was King Von.
Von was different. Like, when shit happened to Von, ain't nothing happening to Von.
But I was happy as hell when I found out Von was dead. Nigga, I cooked for the whole day.
Something was wrong with him. That's not human, man. You're not regular, man.
He was really one of the first rappers to actually be seen as an unaliver. Not somebody who, you know, maybe caught a body once or they would unalive you if they were in that situation. No, somebody who actually is an unaliver, like, is going around and like hunting people down damn near. Like, that's how people really saw Von, and that was a huge part of his brand, to the point in which King Von the rapper and King Von the killer were arguably just as popular as each other. Obviously, the music is a little bit more popular, but those things were damn near on the same level of popularity. And because of this attention that Von got because of his behaviors, people saw that and they wanted a big piece of it. After the rise of Von, other people in similar positions kind of attempted to do similar things to gain some of that clout too. And they kind of entered themselves into the self-snitching and disrespect Olympics. Von used to always hint at, certain things that he had done in his music all the time. He would hint at his body count. So in an attempt to kind of gain the similar clout that Von has, people started doing the exact same thing. And because of that, we've seen a crazy amount of just insane things uploaded to the internet over the last couple of years. The most recent victim to King Von's legacy is a Philly rapper by the name of YBC Dul, aka Mr. Disrespectful. Now, he recently lost his life, I want to say about a week ago, maybe 2 at this point. I don't even know if it's been that long, but what really happened with him is he blew up because of this YouTube video with Brandon Buckingham. Let's say blew up on a nationwide level. I know people from Philly are going to be mad that I said he blew up. You know what I mean, though. From a nationwide level, people knew about him all around America, not just in his, city and surrounding cities. He blew up. It was basically an on-the-ground interview. They're walking around his hood. He's telling them about things in his life. He's talking about what happened here, who did what to whom, why he's the toughest guy, why nobody's going to touch him, why he's super disrespectful, why he's just the most craziest savage, and he's Superman pretty much. And then he ends up actually losing his life maybe a day after the interview gets put out, or maybe a couple of days, something of the sort. And it was already blowing up before he passed away, but when he passed away, the whole story really just took off. And now that video is probably sitting on millions by the time I'm recording this video. And the whole story has just gone super viral. And also, more clips kind of started coming up because when somebody goes viral for one thing, other things that they had in the past start coming up as well. And there's a video of him at a gravesite, and he's digging into the ground. And apparently, he's supposed to be digging up his op's grave. Now, I don't know if that was really his op. It might not have been. He might have just been doing it just to say he was doing it. But either way, putting that idea out there is insane. Like you have to be not a sane person to do something like that, especially to do something like that and not think that the response is going to come back, not think that you're going to eventually get the consequences of that action. Like you literally have to be insane, not an exaggeration. So obviously this story has been going super, super crazy and, it's viral and all that stuff. And, mostly just because of how quickly his demise came after the interview. But what's really crazy about the situation, at least to me, is that I know he was big in Philly. I know he was a big name there. He was a rapper. People knew him in Philly. But outside of Philly, outside of that area, specifically that like East Coast area, I don't know if anybody that knows this story can name one YBC Dul song. I don't know if they can name 3 YBC Dul songs. Me personally, I can't name 3 YBC Dul songs. But I know this story. And that's the King Von effect. Nobody really knows anything about his music. We don't know that much about what he's got going on. But he wants to be the toughest savage, the most killer savage in the world, right? But this story breaks out. He goes super viral. And we don't know the music. We just know the story. I'd say about 75% of the people who know this story outside of like Philly and that area can't even name a single lyric. They just know the super disrespectful Philly rapper who had the video with Brandon Buckingham, and then he lost his life shortly after. And he had all these crazy stunts for attention and stuff, and those stunts probably ended up costing him his life. That's really what they know. That's the sad reality of the situation. I'm not even trying to be rude. That's just the truth. And, I don't really agree with Charleston White on a lot of things, but there's one thing that he said that's always stuck with me. And it was really about Julio, which we might even get to later on. But like he said, when Julio died, I can't feel bad for him. He worked really hard to die. And some of these dudes work really, really hard to die. So it's like, at this point, I feel bad for your family, but you personally, it's like, dang, dude, like, how am I supposed to feel? You worked really hard at this. Then a rapper that I actually really like, I really enjoy his music, OT7 Kwani, the next day, who's also from Philly, ends up going live and basically disrespecting him.
My life. I told him, let's take it there, take it wherever you want to take it, and do what I want in the city. I'm gonna bring Brandon to the city though and show y'all how to really do the interview, like, and not die a day after.
And it's not like I don't understand, I guess, them trying to disrespect each other even after death. It's basically, trying to prove the who's who, trying to prove who's really like that and who really isn't like that. But at the end of the day, it's just so pointless. Like, The possible rewards that you reap from doing that stunt, from going on live like that after somebody dies or whatever, any of the stunts that Mr. Disrespectful pulled, the reward for it is just so minuscule in comparison to the risk that you just took on your life. It just doesn't make sense to even do it. It's not worth it in any way, shape, or form. We recently saw Chicago rapper Lil Jeff, who actually was like kind of directly influenced by King Von, lose his life. And he was a rapper that was in the streets like Von as well, had a very similar reputation in terms of, unaliving people and being an unaliver. And he ended up losing his life going on a drill on feet. He's out there on feet in the middle of the chaos. And he's a rapper with a solidly buzzing career. Obviously, he wasn't, blowing up and going on, Billboard, and he wasn't going to be on the XXL freshman list or anything like that. But he was really building up some steam. Like, he had some songs with some big numbers. He was a name that was getting around. And he's still out there actively on his feet doing this type of stuff. He's not even falling back and paying for it. He's still going out there and doing that. And I think that is the ramifications of Von and his impact on the space. I think that's really what it is, because now it's not enough to even just be known as somebody who's an unaliver or has unalived people. That's not even enough anymore. It's gotten so inflated. There's even inflation is so crazy. It's even in the drill rap space. It's even in the drill rap space. It's not just on your eggs, milk, and bread. It's in the drill rap space. Now it's not even enough to used to be an unaliver. You still have to be going out and doing it to keep up that persona, to keep up that, kind of aura about yourself, to have that still in your back pocket as a selling point. You still have to be going and doing that to prove that you're still really like that. Even Von himself, King Von, was not out there on his feet doing these things after he already started to gain buzz as a rapper. Now, of course, there's that incident in Atlanta, and I think that's a little different, right? That was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I think the Jeff thing was a little bit more planned out and more of like a, we're going on a drill today, rather than like a, oh, we got into an altercation, let me kind of, where he was hanging out the car. I think that was different. But like, you get my point. There's even like, because of how much this has kind of gone crazy, how much the space has been overinflated with guys trying to replicate what Von did. There's been inflation in like how important you are as an unaliver at this point. There's not only inflation on eggs and bread and gas. There's inflation on your unaliver status. You have to still be actively going out and doing those things. Even Von wasn't doing that. And maybe that's just a testament to the people that were around Von, the OTF guys, Lil Durk, kind of like rolling him back in, reining him in, being like, hey, bro, we're kind of going up right now. I'm going to need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to stay in the house. Maybe that's what that was. Maybe that's a testament to the team around Von. But like, it's so crazy that these people are even trying to take it further than what Von did. We also have Von off 1700 right now, blowing up out of Chicago. And partially he is blowing up because of his reputation. And I actually do think that this guy is talented. I've listened to a lot of his music. I think he's good. I think he can be a really good rapper. But he's damn near trying to go get gold in the self-snitching Olympics. He keeps constantly referring to this incident at a gas station where somebody ended up losing their life, let's just say. And now there's videos of a certain situation at a gas station that really kind of reminds us of the thing that he keeps bringing up. Like, it sounds a lot like, or it looks a lot like what he raps about a lot of the times in his music, a gas station incident. Now, we can't confirm whether that's him or not, even though the person that jumps out the car looks exactly like him with the glasses and the ski mask, and they jump out of a Durango. And he's always referencing somebody losing their life in a gas station. He references it in his interviews, in his music. Ah, man, he died. There must have been some good chips. He always references, somebody hopping out of a Durango or hopping out of a truck. Or he talks about in an interview how he doesn't, he doesn't ride around in Durangos anymore. Like, he's always pointing at and hinting at this specific incident. In his raps, he's talking about how they're watching the footage back over and over again. The footage. Now, he doesn't say what footage, but there's also footage that is going around of somebody that looks exactly like him. Now, there's only two options here, right? There's only two options with this scenario. Either one, that's obviously not him, and he's just using it kind of as like a clout move to kind of like gas himself up because he knows fans are going to put two and two together. Or that is him, and he knows that his time is short. So because his time is short, he's just going to get as much as he can out of it. He's going to play into it. And he's going to get clout and money off it because he knows that he doesn't have a whole lot of time out here before them people come and arrest him. I would even say that the Jacksonville drill scene has been influenced by King Von. Now, obviously, they've been beefing and making music and songs towards each other for years, even before King Von was really the guy that he was. But once we get around to 2020 and we get a song like Who I Smoke, I think that those things go hand in hand. I'm sorry. I think that they do. I think that the disrespect in Jacksonville ramps up because of King Von. Not necessarily like the disrespect in general, but that we saw in the music. I think that that reaches another level because everyone's looking around and seeing how successful King Von is. But not to be ignored, though, King Von's influence doesn't just stop at the rappers that ended up coming up after him or even saw him at the exact same time as themselves and started to change the things that they were doing. But it goes to the fans as well. It goes to us as well, because people have been doing crash dummy stuff in terms of like self-snitching and doing these crazy things for a very long time now. Like, that's always been a thing online, but it never really got the traction that it did until we got King Von kind of bringing that into a mainstream light, because Chicago drills already existed. People have been dissing back and forth, doing crazy stuff online, but it just never really caught fire like it did when King Von was really at the top of his game and he was kind of running around and was like essentially the boogeyman of rap. It never really had that same energy. And now we get to the point in which fans are actually looking for and absorbing this content way more regularly after Von than they were before Von. Like, the idea of us listening to an unaliver has always been a thing, right? People have rapped about unaliving people, or maybe even they got 1 or 2, about 3, 4, something like that. But like, never have we as fans really bought into the idea that, yeah, we're listening to the wild unaliver. We're listening to the guy who's out here actually doing these things. Like, he's not the guy that paid for it. He's not the guy that's, knows the guy that did the actual thing or is friends with the guy. No, he's the guy doing it. He's the guy that's directly on his feet doing it. That really kind of changed everything. That changed the way that people looked at drill music and the way that drill music itself was afterwards. And honestly, what might be the most crazy thing about all these guys kind of taking influence after King Von is that, like, I guess they just didn't finish watching the movie. It's like they just didn't end up finishing the story. It's like they watched Lion King and were a really big fan of Scar throughout the entire movie, but just didn't watch the final battle because King Von is no longer here. I don't know if they know this or not. So, yeah, the King Von method may work for a short period of time, but it's not something that's been proven to work for a long time, because the reality is, if you're a guy like King Von, there's really only 2 options, bro. I'm going to be honest. There's only 2 options for you, and they're coming pretty quickly if you keep living that way. Like, that's just the truth of the situation. I'm sorry. And if King Von wouldn't have passed away that night in Atlanta, he probably would have been in federal prison by now with the other guys because of the whole FBG Duck shooting. So that's kind of the interesting thing about the situation. It's like, yeah, King Von was lit. Yeah, he was a real one. He was in the streets, all that. Yeah, that's great. Like, sure, why not? Go ahead and try and be that. But that story did not end well. That story didn't go very far. You stop watching the movie right before the most important part. So it's like, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. And some of these guys end up losing their life. It's just something that you can go into and be successful for a short period of time only. It's guaranteed to be a short period of time. Guaranteed. There's no way out of it. It's a never succeeding road down the line. You're not going to survive longer than 10 years. Because guess what? As you're building up yourself as this crazy killer with this crazy reputation, other people see that and they want to take that off you. They want to get the stripes off you by taking your life. So, it's just really funny to see people following this path. Well, not funny. It's really sad. Funny in a peculiar way rather than a humorous way. It's funny because it's like, why would you do that? This clearly didn't end well for the guy that started it off. So what do you think you're going to do as a cheap copy? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also probably the most interesting part. None of these guys apparently finished the King Von story. I guess they stopped paying attention to King Von on November 5th, 2020. They just didn't see what happened afterward. The fans have allowed for this to be an acceptable way to attain clout in the music game. I'm not saying that people wouldn't be doing these crazy disrespectful things without the fans accepting it, but it's definitely now been incentivized to do these things. So we're definitely seeing it on a more regular basis than what we would have if we didn't actually accept these things. If King Von would have just came and went and nobody ever really paid attention, I don't think we see the disrespect that we see right now, at least not in front of us as often as we do. It would still be a thing, but it would be much more in the backgrounds, in the corners of rap, rather than kind of being raised to the surface. Now, obviously, none of these guys who are super disrespectful and all this stuff like that are the top sellers in rap. It's not like Drake is out here digging up an op's grave, or Kendrick Lamar is out here getting caught on footage trying to, end someone's life. It's not like anything crazy is happening like that at the tippity top with the superstars, but it's much more on the face of rap than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago at this point. So for as much as we want to blame King Von, or I want to blame King Von, maybe let's just say, for what's been going on recently, we have to not only point the finger at him, but point the finger at ourselves as well, because King Von doesn't exist without all of us. Yet there is one thing that a lot of these guys are missing when it comes to being inspired by King Von. And it's, yes, he was, you know, an unaliver. That was his reputation. People told these crazy stories about the things he used to do, waking up like he was about to go to school in the morning just to try and catch people before they went into school, waking up at 6:30 in the morning, not brushing his teeth, just heading straight outside to go find someone. Yes, we've all heard the crazy stories, but people, a lot of these rappers are missing the music that was a part of King Von. Yes, King Von had this crazy reputation, but he was really good at making music. It's not like he just blew up just because of that. His music was really good, and it really caught a lot of people. And that's what a lot of these rappers end up actually missing. That's what they miss out on. And, you know, all of them are technically rappers, of course, but like they're either rappers that just aren't that good, or they're rappers that don't even drop very often. King Von was dropping good music and at a really high pace too. He was dropping all the time. He was dropping albums. He was dropping mixtapes. So yes, you need the reputation of King Von, but he was also dropping really good music. And I think that that is a part of the conversation that's not talked about enough and that's missed out on. Yes, he was insane, but the music was good. And he had the personality and the extra stuff, the reputation, but the music is what caught people too. It wasn't just all the crazy stuff on the outside. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of these rappers who are basically trying to attempt to replicate what he did in a way. Of course, they're not going to say, oh, I'm copying King Von, but they kind of are. You know, they're kind of leaning into those things to be seen in a similar light, let's just say. Maybe they're not trying to copy him, but they want to be seen with that same light that Von was seen. And that's just not going to be the case if you don't have the music to back it up. Look at YBC Dul. Again, outside of Philly and outside of the surrounding areas, nobody knows any of his music. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just the case. It's just true. We don't even know. Nobody knows. Does he have a mixtape? Does he have an album? We don't know. Like, we just don't know. But the rise in like this crash out activity in the drill and street rap space really just made me consider that this probably is the legacy of King Von. But who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe this is all just a coincidence, and I'm here to hear that theory out as well. So let me know down below in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure you let me know. Again, if you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It helps me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay. Oh, make sure you have a good day. Be blessed, be safe, do all that. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.